If I told you that I would give you $20 if you handed me $10 right now, would you do it? Stay tuned to discover a way that you can or might be doing that right. Hi, I'm Irene, and this week's daily dose of financial advice stems from your ability to start being smart with your money. So I asked you, if I told you that I would give you $20 if you handed me $10 right now, would you do it? Some of you guys might be thinking, is this a rhetorical question? Is this a trick question? Is there a stupid answer? Well, the truth of the matter is that some of you guys who are employed may have this ability to do, and you're very clueless as to how this works. Some of you guys might have the benefit of having a big company that has this group RRSP, a registered retirement savings plan, through your work. And they offer their employees a matching program. Now, it's starting to click, right? You're starting to think, I think I have something like that. I just didn't know what that was. So basically, it's the ability, I think it's a forced savings because it comes right off your paycheck. You don't even see it, but it's a good way of having a discipline around putting money away for your future self. Because let's face it, you may not even be thinking about that. Almost guaranteed you're not thinking about that. There's just so many other things to pay for. I just don't have the ability. I'll catch up with that later. But you have no idea what kind of opportunity you're passing up by not starting this program with your work, right? So with my company, the benefits allow us for obviously health benefits, the ability to take sick days, vacation days. Like those are all things that are all packaged with your employment wherever you work. But one of the other things that I think you need to take advantage of is if they have a group RSP plan. And what that is, folks, is that your employer has partnered up with an investment company. Sometimes it's an insurance company where if they can get enough employees involved with investing for themselves, okay, with this particular financial company, that the employer will actually, in addition, give money as well towards that employee. Okay. So let's say, for example, I ask my employer to deduct $100 of my paycheck every 2 weeks into this RSP. My employer is going to match that. So they're going to give $100 as well. Okay. There's usually a limit as to how much they'll go. So, I mean, like for you to save half of your paycheck to go towards an RSP, they're not going to do that. They're probably going to limit it to about 3-4% of your paycheck, but it's still money that you did not have, money that your employer is promising that they'll contribute to your RSP. Okay. So think about it. And in this example, think about it, $100 biweekly with an additional $100 biweekly from my employer. That's 100% rate of return, isn't it? You basically doubled your money. So what happens with that money? Well, if you are fortunate enough to talk to somebody at that financial institution and they're able to kind of walk through your investment objectives and what you feel comfortable with, and you've gone through that process of getting some advice, then you can invest it in something that could be earning you. Sometimes I've seen rates of return as high as 8% on my specific portfolio. Okay. But that's the key. Okay. That is the key. So let's just back up here. So what you're telling me that I put in $100 and I get $100 plus another $100 back. So I get my original plus $100 from my employer, and I'm actually investing $200. And what's that $200 doing? Well, let's talk about this. If you've ever heard of the rule of 72, it was noted as the eighth wonder of the world. It was created by Albert Einstein, and he basically said that you and you divide that into the number 72. So let's say that you get a rate of return of 8%. Okay, you take 8%, divide it into 72. Your money should be doubling every 9 years. So 72 divided by 8 is 9. Okay. Now, what if your rate of return is something like, I don't know, 2%? Okay. So 2% into 72, 2 into 72, 36 times. So would you rather have your money double every 9 years, or would you rather have your money double every 36 years? That is the difference that a rate of return can make on your investment. So let's kind of back up into retirement and why we're talking about this. The gift you have right now is time. So right after this video, if you have a group RSP plan for your work or with your work, please go sign up as soon as you can. But the other side of the coin is you want to make sure that you're invested properly into things that you're educated about, okay? It's not just about, give me the best rate of return, but I want no risk. I don't want to lose my money, okay? And this is where people go wrong. They think that investments, they've heard stories of their friends who lose money because they made choices, and they don't want to do that. But they really have no idea how to invest their money. In fact, I have a lot of people that have said they're scared to invest money because all they think about is gambling, because that's all they've heard. That's all they've heard from their friends who invested their money but felt like they were gambling. Look at that this way. But let's say you were to buy a house, okay? And I know in the city of Edmonton, I've owned a number, and every year we get what we call a tax assessment. Basically, it's just a statement that the city sends to us that indicates how much our house is worth to them so that they know how much to charge us for property taxes, right? They have to kind of deem that our house is worth this much so that they can say, and that means we're going to charge you this much in property taxes, okay? See, no word of a lie. I remember when I bought when we bought our new house. So the house is actually just built, okay? We must have bought it for, I don't know, over $500,000. And no word of a lie, when we moved in, we got our first tax assessment. We were already down $100,000 according to the city of Edmonton. Now, what if at that moment I decided we're selling the house, it's gone down in value, bad investment? People don't do that, do they? They don't do that. They don't say, I'm going to sell the house because it went down in value. Why? Why don't we do that? Why do we buy a house in the first place if we know that the values of the homes are up and down on a year-to-year basis sometimes? Because history has shown us that over the long term, the value of property, at least in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, I can say that, has gone up, right? The cost of land, or I should say the value of land, has gone up since the beginning of time, since we valued land in the first place. Would you agree? Which is why people buy houses in the first place. They think it's going to appreciate. So if I bought my house because I knew it was going to appreciate and it's an asset versus renting a house, why would I sell it the year after I bought it just because it went down in value? Not to mention it was the city of Edmonton that valued it lower, right? So why would you treat your investments that way? Because over time, if you looked at history of what the stock market, and I say the stock market, I'm not talking about stocks here, guys. I'm just talking about like the market in general. It has increased. If you would have invested, over 60, 70 years ago, $100, you would for sure have seen so much growth since then. Look up index chart. I see that if you've invested in things like, blue chip companies, even small companies, over time, through investments, proper investing, you would have earned way more than just leaving it in your savings account. So the power of the rule of 72 indicates to this. Not only do you get an extra matching program with your work, but you also get the ability to invest that in things that could be earning you 6, 7, 8%. And these aren't guaranteed, guys, okay? And you're probably thinking, where can I get that kind of interest rate? And I've heard that lots, okay? But the fact of the matter is it exists. And over time, an average rate of 6, 7, 8% is not unheard of. So now the rule of 72 says that your $200 that's now been invested on a biweekly basis is going to double. If you've earned 8% on average on an investment, is going to double now again in 9 years. Okay, so think about that. So now, if you would have said yes to this question, if I told you that I would give you $20 if you handed me $10 right now, would you do it? If you answered yes to that, then I expect you to go say yes to joining your employer's group RSP plan. I hope you got value from that. I hope that makes sense. And, future videos, please comment on what you'd like to hear me talk about, because I think there's out there, and, I have a hard time keeping up with a bunch of information that I feel is so important. I just can't hold it in this head. I have to write it down. And there's just so many valued. There are so many other videos that I know that I would love to share with you. But please put in the comments what you'd like to know about. I got you all. Have an awesome day.